Um, I've heard many times people will say that the medicine ayahuasca, they'll refer to it as the mother or the grandmother, and that they see it as like a maternal deity, a maternal figure. And it just came to me when you were talking about them praying the rosary, which is, essentially also a Marian ritual. Is the idea that this medicine is a female maternal deity? Is that ubiquitous in the Amazon? And what do you make of that? I mean, is that something that people are just experiencing? And
I don't know if it's ubiquitous. I don't
okay,
think so.
okay,
I think it is like in Santo Daime, although it is like they call themselves and they use like suits that they call farda. Farda is actually a military uniform. And they consider themselves the army of the queen, the queen's army. And the queen is the queen of the forest, is Our Lady of Immaculate Conception. But Daime has something that's very interesting. Portuguese is a language that you have gender for everything, right? It's uma blusa. The blouse, it is like feminine. So you have the hair is o cabelo, it's masculine. So they see Daime as the perfect concoction of both gender. Because divine, they call Jagubi, is the king, is the male. And Rainha is the Psicotres Viridis, is the queen, is the female. So they see Daime as the perfect concoction because it merges both genders. And actually, in the Church of Santo Daime, you split gender in the ceremonies. One side of it's like always, it becomes like a mandala, and they call mandala. Look at the syncretism as well. They call
mm-hmm,
mandala.
mm-hmm.
Okay? Mandala, they call the living mandala. One side of the church is composed of men, young single men, married women, young single women, in a mandala, moving together in a very, very coordinated, mechanical way, and singing the hymns non-stop. They believe that you cannot change this balance of gender. Of course, historically, when I go back to the Amazon, Mestre Irineu, a land without law, was actually a way of keeping the morality, in place and safety for women, to keep men and women separate. And you cannot cross. If I go to the bathroom, I cannot walk in the males section. I have to go through the women's section. Okay, like it's very separate, split. You don't cross the other gender. So I understand there was like cultural reasons for that,
Mm-hmm.
to protect women. Everybody's under the effect of a very powerful influence drug, and could have, like, I don't know, sexual assault, sexual harassment, and then you kept. But now the belief is two different forces, and you have to keep the balance of the masculine and the feminine, because ayahuasca is the feminine and the masculine. This, I think it is like more. So sometimes people describe a voice that's female. Sometimes people describe a voice that is male. I think in contemporary use ayahuasca, it's way more prominent to understand ayahuasca as a mother. As I said, even the Daime, it is Our Lady of Immaculate Conception that are devout, is the mother. It is because, like, ayahuasca sometimes can have this admonishing voice, right?
Admonishing, yeah, like a
Yes.
harsh grandmother voice, yeah.
Yeah. Yay. What you're doing that? You know? And also at the same time, hey, come here. I'm saying that because I love you, right? It is a very female voice. But in indigenous traditional use, I don't think that we have information about that. Like
We
if
just
it
don't
is like,
know.
yeah, we don't know. As I said, we don't know. It could be in some people, but I don't know. We there are some kind of narratives that ayahuasca was also used for warfare. You know, peyote was used for warfare, and it makes sense because you take ayahuasca, you can stay 14 hours without drinking and eating, and your senses are heightened. So it's perfect for warfare. You know, if you're talking about in a moment that lots of nations were like, fighting each other, oh my God, take this substance here. I'm gonna see better, and I don't need water and food.
And you
And
can
I'm gonna,
you can accept death too.
yeah,
You know,
exactly.
like
That's I'm gonna add this element.
yeah,
You can exactly. You are
yeah,
you are fearless. Exactly.
yeah.
Death doesn't matter.
Right. It's just
Not
you're
at
just
all.
crossing over into something different, and I could see that being a kind of asset, a kind of idea that you would want to have.
Yeah. But yes, in the Santo Daime, the female voice, it's very important